Yeah, I mean, eating this way, just all those desires and cravings are gone. Like, I'm an abstainer, I can't moderate, so they're just off the table. It's not even it's not even an option anymore. And I've never felt that way before. I would always fall off any diets. I would always cheat. I mean, I'm going on, I think even tomorrow might be my 8 months. And I haven't had one slip up. And if someone has a slip up, that's fine. So I'm not even saying, oh, look at me, I haven't cheated, but I haven't had the desire to cheat. Like, I haven't even had, besides that 5 weeks when I was animal based, like, I haven't even had one bite of my kids' fruit when I'm cutting it up for them. Like, there has been nothing. So to me, like, having that food freedom, which people don't understand because they're like, how do you have food freedom? You're not eating anything. I'm like, well, to me, food freedom is like the mental freedom, the mental gymnastics I would go through to not binge or binge and then restrict or try to fit into my macros or what, like just constantly obsessively thinking about food. Like, now it's gone. You could have, pre carnivore, you could have a plate of donuts sitting next to me, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I want one so bad. Maybe I would eat one and maybe I would not for the rest of the day, but I would be thinking about it. Or maybe I would eat the whole thing and then it's like, okay, well, tomorrow I got to start over. So I'm going to starve myself tomorrow so it can all balance out. And now they could sit here and it would be like, I have no desire because it's more than just weight. I think with the times in the past, it's like since I was just looking for weight loss, I would have a cheat weekend or a cheat night because it's like, okay, one night's not going to affect my weight loss. Whereas now it's coming from, I'm worried about my health and my mental health. So that's why this works for me. And like, yeah, you could have that here, no desire. Like, it's just, I don't even see it. And it's not even like I would sit here and be like, oh gosh, I really want one, but I'm carnivore, so I can't, like, not even another thought. So that is freeing for me. Like, I just feel like that is like 10 pounds lifted or 100 pounds lifted. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people struggle with the yo-yo and, the carb and sugar addiction. So I just hope someone listening to this, like, can know, like, it doesn't have to be that way. I did that for 25 years. It was miserable, like, it can stop. It can stop. And it may sound like a drastic diet, but you know what? Like, what was more awful was feeling how I felt. I don't think it's awful to eat ribeyes every day.
That's amazing. I love that explanation of freedom. And freedom, we think of as like you can just go and do whatever you want whenever you want, and that's not exactly it. It's like you establish boundaries so that you have freedoms in other areas of your life. It's like, do you want to eat breakfast, or do you want to go surf, or ride your bike, or whatever? You have options that are not always just centered around food. So I think that was really well explained, and I'm glad you hit on this. I've heard you answer this question on a different podcast interview where they said, like, is it just because you have mentally said, I can't eat those foods, so I'm not going to eat those foods, so I'm going to avoid the middle part of the grocery store, I'm going to be not around sugar and fruits and vegetables? Or is it something different? And you said, like, maybe it's part of it that I decided that I'm not going to eat those foods anymore, but it's very much deeper than that. It's like, I don't want those foods anymore. My tastes are completely different than what they used to be. I used to somewhat enjoy vegetables, and they look disgusting to me now. Like, even sugar is like, yeah, I can maybe dabble a little bit. And I know I can't because I'm not a moderator either, so I have to abstain from that. But vegetables look gross. Like, your whole view of what food is and what food is not completely changes.
Yeah, it definitely changes and the desires change. And like, even your taste buds, like, people are like, how do you eat the same things over and over again? And you ever get sick of it? It's like, I don't. And I get why people would think that as an outsider looking in. But you know what I got sick of was when I was being keto or low carb, I would meal prep. I would probably, meal prep for the week, make about 3 or 4 different meals, have some sort of protein and veggie. And by a few days, I was sick of that. So I don't know what it's doing to your taste buds, like, and that was having a lot of ingredients, that was using seasonings and having garlic and onions and like roasting vegetables where you have the fat on them so they get like crispy. Like, they were delicious things, but I got burnt out. But now I could eat even cold burger patties every day and it's delicious to me. So it's interesting. I almost think of it too as like, if you've ever heard a smoker say, like, when they quit smoking, like, their taste buds come alive and they can finally taste things. Like, I think it kind of is like that too.
Yeah, salty, fatty protein just hits that spot perfectly every single time. And it may have been Paul Saladino that I'm stealing this from, but somebody was asking him about like people who say they like vegetables, and Paul's question was like, really, do you think they like the vegetables, or do you think they like everything that comes along with the vegetables? Do you think if I steam up some Brussels sprouts and put it on a plate for somebody, they're going to like eat it, or are they going to really love it if it's cooked in bacon and bacon grease and salted? It's like people like it because it's a probably a vehicle for what their bodies are really craving, like fat and salt and sustenance that you're getting from some of those other things. I don't think you'll see a lot of people that just eat raw spinach on its own. Like, that's disgusting. Hardly anybody would do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true, because what I liked most about vegetables, like I said, was roasting them. And, like especially Brussels sprouts, and that you're putting all that fat on it, which your body probably wants that fat, and that's getting like crispy, and then the salt. Like, that's what I liked. If I needed to, I would eat a bowl of steamed Brussels sprouts, but that's because I thought that's what I should do to be healthy, fill up your belly with veggies so you eat less. Like, that's, and then also like with salads, it's like, okay, if no one wants to eat a bowl of just lettuce, but you like salads because you have yummy toppings on them and you're dousing them in dressing. So, it's, yeah, exactly like you said, it's not the vegetable or the salads, it's everything that's going on top of it is why you like it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And for the listener who's thinking like, okay, but if you're removing all that fiber, that's going to be really bad for you. Can you talk about what happens digestively when you start eliminating all fiber?
Yes, it is so much better. Okay. I know you guys are all going around tooting all day. Like, you have gas. I know you do. Okay? I have zero gas. And I know what it's like to be, being gassy all day, coming from a low carb space. They're cranking up the fiber to make things low carb, and that is not good for your stomach. That is not comfortable.